Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DCUO SourceCast. I am, of course, Trex, and alongside me tonight, we have Super Patriot.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
And beside him, we have Vagrant Gaming.
What's up, guys?
And we have Brittany.
Hi.
Yes, all four of us are here on a Friday night, so hopefully the sound should be not Matrixy. Because,
not shitty.
Yeah, not shitty. Sadly, as soon as I started talking, my audition decided to crap out, so I'm going to have to rely on the audio from XSplit, which, shit. It's okay, Audition's kind of an old program, because I'm using like 3.0, and not the current, whatever. So, I did my testing beforehand, everything sounded good, so if there's Matrixy stuff, it's because something hates me. And that's okay, because I'm not perfect. So, we hope everyone is doing well on this Friday night. If you are not here, because you're probably living in Austin, Texas, and you're probably at RTX this weekend, which is the Rooster Teeth event in Austin, Texas, which I wish I was there. You're probably hanging out with the developers of DCUO, hanging out at a bar, and going to the voiceover panel tomorrow, in which I am going to hate. I have all this hate in me. Well, it's jealousy mainly. Really jealous.
Apparently, you're missing out on Meps being just a cornhole expert.
A cornhole expert.
Yeah, apparently, Meps is a ex-pro cornhole player.
All right.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the Twitter.
Oh my god! I didn't even think about looking at Twitter. Wow.
Cornhole, huh?
Yep.
Cornhole.
Well, he's in the Midwest, and all right.
No, dude. West. You just said Texas is in the Midwest.
Is it not in the middle?
Texas, well, technically, geographically, right? However, I would not say it's in the Midwest. I don't think they consider themselves Midwesterners.
Well, I'll tell you what, they sure as hell ain't Southern.
No, I think they consider themselves Texans.
Well, you know, when a Texas representative comes onto the stream and corrects me, then I'll probably still not give a care.
They have a saying about not messing with them.
I live in South Carolina. Bring it. Bring it. We'll have a civil war, state versus state. Let's do it. Just keep Texas A&M over there. I don't want to deal with them. The Gamecocks nor Clemson can handle Texas A&M. That's just not going to happen.
As a member of the Big Ten, I ain't worried about the SEC because you know what, my team won the freaking BCS championship.
Hey,
aha!
I can tell you now, I root for the Iowa Hawkeyes in the Midwest.
Wow, you're a freaking traitor.
I don't even like the Gamecocks or Clemson. I don't like any of them. I hate this town. I hate it.
You don't even get on one of the bandwagon SEC teams.
No, I do not.
Traitor.
I didn't like the Hawkeyes until I was watching it with my stepbrother when I was younger, and he got me into it. I root for Iowa Hawkeyes that's the college game I watch. It's Iowa Hawkeyes. Gamecocks come on, Clemson Tigers come on. I'm like, whatever, queers. I'm
out. What's the bandwagon SEC team?
I don't even
there,
watch
though?
sports.
Oh my god, who is this?
You guys hop on LSU's or is it Auburn or Alabama's?
It's Alabama or Auburn.
Yeah, I think it's Alabama or Auburn.
Mostly it's Alabama because they're always number one. I think we really derailed this podcast.
Yeah, I don't know
just the intro a little bit. Just the intro a little bit. I'm sorry, I started talking about sports on a geek podcast.
It's okay. It's okay. Fantasy football is geeky as well. All right, because They got fantasy football. We have D&D. It's okay. It's okay. Yay, sports. But anyways, if you guys are in Austin, Texas,
Freaking Arwen, go sports team.
If you guys are in,
know what sports is.
I gotta show you. I gotta link you a Lonely Island video talking about sports. It's super funny. Yeah. If you guys are in Austin, Texas, RTX is going on this weekend. Go hang out with the developers of DCUO and also see many other developers and gamers as well. It's a big Austin event all weekend long. It's really cool. So, how has everybody's week been? Super Patriot.
Mine was decent until Wednesday.
Till Wednesday.
Until Wednesday. Yeah, until Wednesday, and then it just went down the crapper.
Is it episode related?
Yeah.
Aw, damn it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you want to talk about it now or when we talk about episode 15?
We'll talk about it. Well, I mean, it's not really episode 15 specific related. It's just it's more game related than anything else. I don't know, I'm just slightly annoyed with people and.
Okay, that's definitely episode 15 stuff because we're gonna lump that all together.
Yeah.
Vagrant, how's your week been, man?
It's been good. I've been really tired lately, though. I haven't been sleeping too much. But other than that, it's been all right. I wouldn't say it's been the best, but
that adult life, right?
Through it. Yeah. I haven't even really gotten a chance to play the new episode very much, but I've heard there's been some problems. So if anything, I've been skipping out on all the frustration. So
yeah, you got 3 more weeks before the next episode, you know, right?
Yep.
3 or 4 weeks, you'll be fine.
Like when I logged in before, because I was doing some streaming before the actual podcast, my whole league was spamming the crap out of bombshells.
Brittany, how's your week been?
All right. I'm glad it's Friday, so it's better now because it's Friday.
I saw you got yourself a new router.
Finally! Oh my gosh, I love it. It's the best. Well worth $160 I paid for.
Is it gonna keep new from lagging?
I don't think any router can do that. So.
What kind of router did you get?
It's the Netgear Nighthawk.
Ooh, I'm really, I'm really shocked.
Is it the AC 3200 or the AC 1900?
Letters and numbers.
I have to look. I know it has an A in the name. AC 1900.
Okay, so you didn't get the super top of line one.
No, I didn't think I needed that one. But this one has improved my download and upload speed dramatically, so I'm very happy.
Well, good.
This is what happens when you work for Geek Squad. You know all the kind of stuff that goes to a router.
So, yeah, I'm actually really happy on how Netgear has improved their quality because Netgear used to suck back a few years ago.
We all know that Belkin is the absolute worst.
Agreed. Luckily, I still run with some of my Cisco Linksys products, and I absolutely love them. I love them. Good high quality stuff.
Linksys.
My week has been okay as well. I have fallen. I haven't been getting good sleep this week either. I do blame a bit of episode 15 on that because running those raids gets oh my god, man, I gotta get to bed. This is long. But I mean, other than that, I just doing new projects on the website. I've been doing these DCUO news articles because I always go to MMO Champion because I don't play WoW anymore. But you always want to make sure you are in the know. You have the knowledge. So looking at MMO Champion, I was like, you know what? DCO needs something like this. So redid my website, started doing articles this week. Tiresome, but it does make the workday a lot faster looking at CSS code all day. So reverse engineered some coding from MMO Champion to bring it to my website. I'm like, yeah, awesome job, Trex. You did things that you really can't. So I'm actually really proud of myself. Let's go coding. And I still can't build a website properly. But the DCO news stuff is actually pretty fun. After this episode, I have to add the server hotfix that came out earlier today for tomorrow. I got to add that article, and then I can release it later tonight. So pretty happy. Has anyone had a chance to look at it?
The hotfix?
No, my my articles on the website that
Oh,
I've been
no,
linking.
I didn't know.
You have a website?
Ouch.
I'm kidding, buddy. No, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
That's okay.
Have you been tweeting about it?
Yes. I tweet on the SourceCast damn mine.
You have a Twitter?
Oh my god. Just airing that choke slam right now.
I just Batista bombed your ego right there.
You did. You really did.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about sports again. Pseudo sports even, but still sports.
Is it sports though? Is it? No.
That's why I said pseudo sports.
Yeah. It's all entertainment. Ha 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 ha. So let's go ahead and get straight into some emails. So I had a few people message me on the forums because they couldn't use an email properly. Looking at you, Jareth. And so they were more than if you guys can't get the email to work, even though for whatever reason I don't know why, be sure to check your ports on your email, just in case if you run your own email server like I do. Message me on the forums. Trexlight, just message me on the forums your question and I'll get on to the show. So let's go ahead and get our first question, which is it's a semi-long one. It's from Jareth. And yes, I'm calling you out all the day. Calling you out. So this is multiple questions because he's tried emailing.
Better be a good question, Jareth. Better be good questions. That's what I'm saying.
Some of them are pretty good. They really are. All right. So hello, Trexlight, Brittany, and others. Sorry, these questions took a while to. I tried to send them. Something happened. So not sure what. But anyway, to the questions. By the way, the others are Super Patriot and Vagrant. Thank you for recognizing the stars, but you gotta talk about the other two as well. You gotta name them. Or just like Trexlight and his podcasting friends. You know, that works too.
Look how, I get, you're the original, one of the original hosts of this show, but I mean, I've been doing this show almost as long as you have been.
That's true. That's very true. And how does Brittany get named before you?
She's Asian, and she's a girl, and it's that whole trifecta, man.
She's a woman. She's a lady.
She cheats.
That too.
She's got that cheating trifecta going on, man. She's an Asian female that plays video games. Cheat.
And she just stays silent.
She doesn't even talk much. How is she the memorable one?
Because what I have to say is very memorable.
Half the time you're not even paying attention. You have to be like, wait, what?
It's not even memorable, Brittany. It's not even memorable. It's that people will be listening to the SourceCast. All of a sudden, oh my God, is that a girl talking? It's like those oh man, do you guys remember those videos those guys used to put up for DCUO a while back and all that with the sock puppets?
Yes.
Oh, that guy with that one with the, are you a girl? Would you like some sodas? Do you want to join my league?
All right. All right, let's get to the questions. All right, first off, let me say thank you for making the SourceCast. I enjoy the show. I watch whenever I get the chance. It has to be one of my favorite things to do. It's so good. So, thank you, Jareth, for the warm reception.
How the heck are you gonna... Oh, that doesn't even make sense.
Remember your Vagrant's freaking little shtick about the so good, but doesn't remember Vagrant's name. You know what? I don't even want to answer these questions now.
Massive L for me for that.
I don't even want to answer any of these questions now.
All right, Brett, it's up to me and you then. All right, now for the question. I have been playing since 2001, and I left in 2012, came back at the near end of 2013. Welcome back. But anyway, Weapon Mastery was created, and also Advanced Mechanics. I didn't know about the forums then, so I did not know why they were created. So that is my first question. What was the reason for Weapon Mastery and Advanced Mechanics being made? So, weapon mastery was created because of Brittany.
What?
Yeah, it was because you had so many skill points and didn't know what to do with them, so they had to create weapon mastery so people use skill points.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, totally.
We wish that was the reason weapon mastery was created.
Right.
So, so weapon mastery was created. This is why Mep should have been here instead of drinking, having a good time. You should be at home listening.
Yeah, damn you, Meps, for having fun.
Yeah, I don't care if Dex is in town. We're a close second. So with weapon mastery, the community really had the idea of using multiple weapons. Like, like especially with, like, if you were a one-hander, you had like a sheath on your back or something. That was more of a visual thing. With weapon mastery, they wanted to tap into other weapons as well, because I mean, you're putting points into other trees. Might as well, you should be able to use that weapon at the same time you're using your main. So that's where weapon mastery really came in, and what we have. When it was when it was really introduced, it was a skill points thing, where it's like, hey, you have so many skill points, like, hey, you can also put skill points into here. We have these for you. It was also brought to us as a way for support roles to do damage, because DPS, Universe Online, whatever you want to call it. But it was at the time when support roles were like, man, we would really like to be doing stuff. So Weapon Mastery came out. And at the same time, Weapon Mastery had buffs for the support roles. Damage, I mean, you had like a 300% crit, chant, 200 or 300, can't remember. But then you also have these cool buffs that you could do. Healers could have apparently less power on your next ability. Controllers, less power on your next ability. Tanks, I'm like, oh, fuck me, this is horrible. What? This is lame. I wanted like something like pretty cool, like a boost in dominance or something. But we got what we got. And thus was Weapon Mastery. Advanced mechanics came about to offer something different to DPS players, to shake things up. And boy, did it shake things up, where Flavor of the Month became the high priority in people's eyes, and lots of balance issues. Advanced mechanics was really a clusterfuck in my eyes. At this point now, was like two...
You think advanced mechanics was a clusterfuck? I think Weapon Mastery was more of a clusterfuck.
I think Weapon Mastery, when it was released, was a lot smoother than advanced mechanics.
Maybe. It
was a slippery slope on both.
It still made it to where certain weapons were where you were pigeonholed into doing certain weapons, you were pigeonholed into doing certain combos.
Very true. Very true.
But I would say both Weapon Mastery and Advanced Mechanics, they were both blah.
On paper, when it was talked about, was amazing.
It sounded amazing, right?
Yeah, just like Legends PvE. It was amazing.
You guys need to remember.
On paper, it was good.
No, it didn't.
It did when you're. It did. Hey, if you were at SOE Live, you would have liked it. When you're sitting in that panel room.
When Locke said that we'd eventually be able to take our own tunes into there with the Legends characters, for the whole immersion effect they tried to, push with the game. That's when Legends PvE sounded amazing.
Yeah.
Right. But anyways, you guys need to remember too. Weapon Mastery was supposed to have been a lot better when they initially announced it, and you had put the details out there for it. It was supposed to be a lot better for the support roles as well, because initially it wasn't going to be just a power reduction if you use Weapon Mastery as a tank healer or DPS or troller. You're going to get stat buffs for it.
Yeah.
So. It was supposed to have been a lot better. Weapon Mastery was going to be fantastic. The main reason why they went with the advanced mechanics was because there were some powers that did not perform well using weapon mastery, like Quantum, for instance.
Celestial.
And Celestial, yeah, Quantum and Celestial, and were probably the worst weapon mastery powers you could think of, because one, Celestial had its own powers that it comboed into already. So technically, it already had an advanced mechanic. It just didn't have any of its bonuses for it, for using the advanced mechanic. Quantum, on the other hand, Quantum was just horrible in regards to using weapon mastery with it. You know, and then it was what, the second power that got its advanced mechanic, and it just freaking was insane. Meanwhile, with Fire was good with weapon mastery, but then, you know, they introduced the AM for it and just like killed the power almost completely when it came to DPS. it was still better. It was still better to weapon mastery with it. But I mean, it was supposed to be, you know, a couple of new mechanics to not just DPS with, but to you know use our weapons with our powers. In the
Which
game,
never really happened. Still.
Well, with weapon mastery, it still does, but with the advanced mechanics, yeah, there's like no weapon usage at all.
Yep.
Unless you're trying to get just like a little bit extra out there and all that, you know, with some of them you can get away with it, but yeah, it was I mean, and plus it was supposed to, you know, be the answer to, you know, keep in mind and everything, when weapon mastery was introduced, this is also when they took jump canceling out of the game, at least jump canceling the way we knew it,
and clipping, pretty much.
You know, the clipping's still there.
Clipping's there, but what I mean by clipping is like clipping everything together to an extent, like making your character look like he's having a seizure.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like I knew one guy was a gadget DPS. He would jump cancel his jump cancels. He was constantly freaking bouncing around like an idiot.
All right, let me get to the second question. I don't like the advanced mechanics, but it seems like they took the creativity of making your own loadout away. Do you think it's possible for the developers to put in more powers from trees into the advanced mechanics so we can have the creativity back in the game? I will actually agree with this, because I mean, especially as fire tanks as we were, you and I, we had different loadouts with our fire tanking.
Well, let's get it right. Okay, one of us had a good loadout, and the other one, you know, was like, what?
Hey, I did fine. I'm different. I like to mix it up. I don't want to be a cookie cutter. But sure enough, the advanced mechanics definitely brought in a cookie cutter build. They, especially Quantum, is the #1 look at. This is your loadout, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're done. All right.
Well, I mean, you can say that about several powers now.
Anything though.
That's pretty much all of them. Yeah.
You don't utilize all of the trees though, or both trees and every. Like, you can't use every power and mix and match. It's basically the same 5 powers that...
We used to be able to, though, to an extent.
Well, yeah, you used to. Now it's pretty much the same thing. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're done.
Yeah. I've never understood why they didn't make it to where, you know, for instance, every single power in the fire tree grants volatility and stuff like that. Or, you know, things that relate to your advanced mechanic. I don't understand why powers are excluded to the point of where even when you're leveling, you'll just never use them.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
And that's also like when I was playing WoW back in the day, because you had, before they did the things, and you had your talent trees, but then in your spell book, you had all these other abilities that you were never going to use. Just sat there.
Absolute, like, useless. Like, never in a million years you would spend a skill point on.
Yeah, and then when I came into this game, it's like, all right, well, here's your trees. You have 15 power points. And you can only use 6 abilities. Have fun. I'm like, oh, well, this simplified everything for me. Thank you. And I think with the advanced mechanic route, they tried to do, because when I looked at the trees, I try to pick in, because I'm from a from WoW, I hybrid. I put points into practically every tree that I need to get to something I needed. So I'm looking at my trees like, all right, I'll put points in here. Oh, I got things in this tree too. Oh, I went. Oh, I just need all these. And so, but now it's, all right, well, this tree is basically DPS, and this one is definitely all tank. You could mix and match, but will you get the maximum output of DPS or damage? Probably not. You just need to just put all your points into the DPS tree, and you're done.
As I mentioned, you put all your points into certain powers in your DPS tree, and you're done.
Yeah, Zouse is correct. For Quantum, you can use any time tree power. See, time tree power. Any of those from that tree. Any of them.
Which is great for Quantum. Yeah. But where's everybody else?
The thing is, though, it's like they said right there in the chat too. It's like, you can use any power you want to in the time tree. Well, how good you're going to do with using any power from the time tree, though, is a big, difference, though.
That's true. Do you feel that? Let's use Quantum as an example. Quantum, let's say Quantum is the poster child for advanced mechanics, where the time tree, any power works within that realm. Do you feel that the other powers need to set themselves where this tree, you will only do advanced mechanic, and the other tree is your support? Should we split it up like that?
See, when they were first bringing weapon mastery in and then advanced mechanics, I always thought that the advanced mechanic was going to be an option for you to use if you didn't have a lot of skill points.
Mm-hmm. That's a good mindset to have. I thought that too.
Which was fine, but now they've got some advanced mechanics, like Quantum's a perfect example. You can argue the same thing with fire. I know you can definitely say the same damn thing about ice. Where the advanced mechanic is just leaps and bounds beyond the weapon mastery side of it. And I don't know. It's like the game's definitely changed a lot since launch. And I realize that the four of us didn't know that, but actually accepting it, I think we've all had a difficult time doing that. Because especially when it goes to PvP, where we wish some things were back to the way they used to be.
I got something to ask about that.
They've definitely been designing things more towards new and casual players with this game, and the advanced mechanic is a perfect example of that. There's people out there that look for that. Just it's just have to push this button, this button, this button, and this button, and I'm good, right? There's people out there that prefer to play the game like that. Prefer to play any game like that. This is like the first MMO on consoles. Technically, that I think it was Final Fantasy VII or something like that was. One of the Final Fantasies was
Final Fantasy 11.
11, yeah, thank you.
Was the very first console.
There's too many of those. There's too many of those out there. So I mean, but this
too
was
many Call of Duties out there, bro.
Yeah. Which cracks me up because I saw Battlefield 4 is getting ready to release a new DLC here coming up here next month. And somebody from IGN was doing a video on it, and they're like, man, Battlefield 4, man, just won't go anywhere. I was like, well, it's better than, freaking, like 3 Call of Duties in 1 year. I mean, come on. Every year. But, so, I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because, I remember, putting together, different loadouts for fire. Okay, I can use this one if I'm using the bow, or I can use this one if I'm using hand blasters. And this was before weapon mastery. So, weapon mastery and advanced mechanics. It's like I can't use mass adet unless I'm using the advanced mechanic because it's just shit if I'm not, So it's, I guess it's just really frustrating.
In my opinion, what you were trying to aim for didn't work when essentially it killed the game for your loyal players, the people that are going to actually stick around for the long haul. If what you say is true about AMs, it's supposed to make the game friendlier. Those players aren't going to stick around. They're gonna leave the game. They're gonna come and go. It's players like us who really know the game in and out, who are clamoring for, why does fire play exactly like ice now? It just has different effects. Why do that? Why is the only powers that feel different nowadays powers like Celestial, Rage, Light, things like that? Those are the only powers that play differently other than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And sorcery and Earth too. And Earth of course is different as well. But I feel like it really killed it for me to an extent when the game felt too samey. When before, yes, there was imbalance, but at least your powers felt different. It felt good to be playing a different power other than pressing 1, 2, 3, 4. I hate using that example. Yeah. I like when that happened to DC. Like I was sad. I never thought that game would come. I never thought this game would come to that.
And I'm not trying to throw any insults out there or anything like that, but I mean it's become very clear recently how differently the players play the game from how the devs play the game, or at least how they perceive to play it. I mean, with the devs, recently, Tunso recently coming out and saying that they don't recognize mid-range as a range variance with powers and all that. They consider that to be melee. So like if I'm at the maximum distance away from the target hitting something with fire burst, I'm meleeing according to the devs. And to me, that's just insane.
We also know that the devs apparently absolutely hate melee ever since Tier 5.
Well, yeah. Locke has already said multiple times that he actually plays melee in every fight.
Okay, is it melee? Sure, is it their melee or is it our melee? That's the thing.
He's on the boss.
Is like you are right next to the boss.
He is right next to the boss.
Does not happen.
Melee to me is if I can like do a weapon attack and get damage from it. That's melee to me.
Maybe he's meleeing in alerts, duos, and solos.
Nope, he's doing it in raids.
Yeah, I like to see him melee the first boss in NGN and never die. Right, Britt?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to see him melee most bosses since Tier 5 content, to be honest.
Well, that goes into the last question. Melee. When I was at Fire back in Tier 3, when FOS was big, I melee a lot with Rage. They have a lot of melee options because it's a melee power. Also in the advanced mechanics you can melee. So my final question is, do you think it's possible to bring back melee for raids and alerts in the near future? Well, they are actually the bosses in starting with this raid with Bombshell Paradox and moving forward is more melee friendly. Now there is still mechanics that you need to watch out for. So remember, if you're meleeing a boss, don't stand side to side to the tank. Just know you're behind the boss. You're behind the boss or to the side of the boss. You're not standing directly beside the tank. You don't want to be in that frontal cone area. Okay, that's a bad place for you. But for any melee person who wants to do melee, I always recommend, it's like, know your placement, know where you are, know what the boss can do. If you
can I just say it is possible to melee that first boss in NGN. I've tried it too, even with Rage. The issue with that damn boss is that cone attack she does with her staff. Yeah, that cone is 370 degrees.
You basically get backpacked. Like, she may be looking in a different direction, but she'll still hit you even if you're behind her. So if you're at that 12.5 meter range, you're fine. But if you're actually up her butt, you're not fine because you're gonna die.
That's also
I've
an
already
issue.
tested it.
That's an issue that I have as well. When you have especially light chains from hard light, where you're being forced to move forward. Like, bitch, keep me stay. I don't want to move forward. I want to stay here. I don't want, stop making me use this power and me moving up with it. I don't want to be closer. I'm at this point for a reason. Keep me at 12.5. I don't want to be at 7. Keep me here. But a lot of the powers moves you forwards as well as like rifle. Especially you do a front flip, you're moving forward, which, okay, understandable. Back flip as well. That's logical. But there's a lot of powers that move you forward that I feel I don't want to be moved forward. So I don't use those powers.
There's a reason nobody uses dual pistols, even though I love dual pistols.
Oh, right? Oh, I switched to a character with it, and I was like, oh, I remember, this is actually pretty fun. Oh, this is why I hate. Like, moving forward, jumping back. I'm like, oh, fucking slip shot, stop it. It's like, what? I'm dual pistols. Why am I so agile right now?
Yeah, definitely wish certain things could go back to the way they were to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought weapon mastery and AM, that was also always supposed to be a choice. Like, that's
It
just
was.
how they made it sound. Like, you could still do your normal, you know, clipping, whatever, rotation, but, yeah.
It was a choice. It was supposed to be a choice. But once the one person who tested it out, like, hey, look at these numbers. Everything else you're doing sucks.
Well, people would have figured that out regardless. The amount of damage that you put out. It wasn't a secret. It's just you're pigeonholed into doing certain rotations because you do the most damage that way. And if you're a DPS, there's no way that you would go back to doing an old rotation like with gadgets. There's just no way you would do that.
No.
It's like you know my old you know hand blaster DPS loadout for fire incorporated mass det in there. There's no way in hell I could use that power now without using the AM.
Yep.
You know, like I said before, because without the AM, you know, that power is not hitting for shit.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so Jareth, there you go for your questions. Thank you so much for asking them. So next one came from Majosia. I hope I said it right. These are actually suggestions, so I want to get really fast group decision on it. So do unite the styles in a vendor's PvE for marks of victory and for PvP marks of valor. Thoughts? Basically putting the unite the styles in the vendor, which I think everyone had that expectation, but then
I think everybody had that expectation. I kind of like what they're doing with they're slowly putting it out there now with the lock boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm not too bothered with it right now. In the PvP gear, I'm still on the fence about.
If you have to earn it through marks of valor, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, and if it was only the opposing faction styles, then I'm fine with that.
It would have to be expensive in terms of marks of victory.
Yeah, I think it would have to be like the rare style vendor.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
70 marks each style.
Because it's since the Unite the Factions has breathed new life into Prometheum lockboxes. I used to get Prometheum lockboxes and not give a shit. Now I actually get really, really excited when I get a Prometheum lockbox.
Me too.
Yeah, I get really excited.
I get a little giddy. I get a little giddy when I get one.
I get really excited till I open up and I see New Genesis and
paramilitary.
Voodoo
yeah,
and then I'm like,
still don't understand why.
And then I go and I look at the base item, and it's hey, here, a Dark Anubis statue. Oh yay! I've got 50,000 of those.
I know they're supposed to be padding, but come on.
Yeah, I agree.
There's enough padding because there's enough styles to make it to where it'd take a long ass time.
I
Take
still
a paramilitary and all the styles we can buy, all the crap styles
Agreed.
that doesn't matter.
If we take away the cash vendor, the cash kiosk styles, you still have enough padding. You still have enough. A Kryptonian and Amazon power for a tank, which is basically bringing it back to that might and magic thing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talking about. I've had a lot of people come to me and ask me about a Kryptonian power, and I'd say let's go for it, dude. I would, honest to God, I want an honest to God super strength tank power.
We would have had it with serums.
No, I don't want serums. Serums was not the way to go with.
Honestly, it's just gonna have. It's gonna be the most boring power in terms of effects. It's gonna look like Earth, except
I think
controlling rocks. That's
I'd
what
be
it's gonna be.
kind of fine with that, though. You know, but like a Kryptonian power set, though. Kryptonian power set, okay, yeah, you'd have a lot of effects like with Earth and everything, but you know, can you imagine, you know, powers like heat vision actually being in one of your power trees and not in the iconics? You know, freezing breath, super breath, stuff like that. I mean, it's like I said, I just want an honest to God super strength power in this game.
I think with experimental serums was possibly the closest we would have gotten to it, and the reason I say that is because Kryptonian, I see that being a DC Warner Brothers saying no. With Amazon,
they can't honestly. You know what? And you know what? If they said no, if I was one of the developers, if I was Jens and on it, and they said no to me, I'd have looked at them dead in the face and said, "Well, you guys already let us put Superboy in, and he's a clone of Superman. We've got Bizarro in. He's a clone of Superman. So we've got two clones of Superman, and you're saying somebody else out there couldn't break that fucking technology and make more clones of Superman?
Luthor lost the technology. I don't know.
Oh, shut up! Lost the technology.
But that's my argument. That's how I feel. Like Kryptonian sounds awesome, but I do feel that it is Warner Brothers and DC putting the kibosh on that. Amazon.
Amazonians had to be had to be females only.
Exactly.
Same argument with Pink Lanterns.
Which to me, the Star Sapphires could be men, but if that falls into this universe or not, that's where it gets iffy. Because in the comics, yeah, I mean, freaking, there's other men, Star Sapphires that were there temporarily, but now, in this universe of DCUO, it's whether it's up in the air.
Anyway, this universe of DCUO has the same storyline leading up all the way up to just prior to New 52 being launched.
A little bit, yeah.
So in this universe and everything like that, the Blackest Night's already taking place. So the moment with Jon Stewart, and Guy Gardner becoming Pink Lanterns, and I know, Guy, stole his reign.
And John became it during New 52.
Oh, okay, well.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Guy still stole it.
Got his name. Yeah.
in the current Green Lantern Lost Army story that's going on right now, Guy Gardner is the Christmas Lantern. He's wearing his old green suit, but it has red lining where the white would be.
Nice.
John called him the Christmas Lantern. I lost it.
Yeah.
And then Guy saves him from a fight. He's like, "Hey, John, remember when you called me the Christmas Lantern? Ho, 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 you're welcome." And then finally, old school beta styles that were removed from the game to bring them back in a vendor again. PvP were Marks of Victory, and then the PvP for Marks of Valor. I wasn't there for beta, so I'm not really sure what styles were there.
Oh, well, this is actually pre-beta. I think that he's talking about some of these styles. One of them was the patriotic style.
Okay.
Which you can see here. I'll find a picture for it.
Okay.
Find a picture for it. But Yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. And yeah, I'm definitely, if it brings the patriotic style, the rest of the patriotic style, like, I'm definitely down for that.
Heck yeah. Of course you are. So while you're looking for that, we'll get the last question. It's from Gin Whiskey, of course. With the way the game is progressing, more content, which means more feats. Yay, Brittany. More feats, more skill points. Again, yay, Brittany. What would you suggest the next phase of skill point spending should go? He's got 76, but the popular consensus is 100 plus. I will agree to that. If the 230 plus is possible, why not percentage buffs or open iconic powers to allow customization in power sets or PvP? Thanks for reading my email. So, and yes, this is in Photoshop because I put in Photoshop to get the black bars and I just did not save the file because I didn't want to do the extra mile. So, yay Photoshop. So, skill point spending, the next phase. We did talk a little bit about that last week, which was the Lost Show. I saved as much as possible, and which was the skill point discussion and a little bit of LPVE. So, Brittany, as the master or mistress of skill points, what would you like to see the next wave of skill point spending go?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what else they could add, unless they add another weapon.
Which right now is basically no.
Right, but I could see them increasing like the tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 innates, like make it, instead of like 3 out of 3, they would make it 6 out of 6, and then they could make it, I don't know. I don't know if they would double like the second ones or something, but then yeah, change it to percentage based and just increase the number that you can allot in each of those like tiers, I guess. I can see them doing that. But I don't know what else they could do really besides that without adding another weapon.
That they can do.
I mean, are they just going to add another tier to it? Like,
no, you're not really thinking outside the box. I said this last week. Add different kinds of things to spend it on. Add a crafting tree. Have it where when you craft nitro sodas or something like that, if you put enough skill points into it, you craft multiple ones. Same thing for exobytes.
But where would they
put
things
like that? They can just have a separate tree for it that's a generic tree. You don't necessarily have to make it all about weapons.
Use skill points to increase crafting?
Yeah, other MMOs do it. You have extra skill points.
The R&D system in this game is so
bare bones and basic.
It's so limited already as it is. I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't really put skill points into crafting.
I mean, unless you know, unless
they
you know,
improved it, they would be totally worth it. And then it doesn't also have to be crafting. There could be other things. Maybe related to your power, things like that.
Unless you know me salvaging a piece of gear and all that, because I put skill points into my salvaging, innate or whatever, and that gave me the chance, or improved my chances of crafting a gold complex, which counts as 5. Complex. I don't really see there being a point in doing it. I mean, the idea of that sounds awesome, but I mean, I'm going to get I'm picking up all my damage innates or all of my tank innates before I, blow skill points on R&D.
Well, they gotta.
I was going to say we're a ways off, anyways, from people being able to max out every single weapon tree with all weapon mastery. It's like,
right.
I mean, just for your one roll, we're still a ways off from that. I mean, that's not going to happen for a while.
Yeah, and even when we do get to that point, Fire's still going to need like 40 or 50 more skill points anyway. So it's.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about one roll.
It relates to your power.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, I will agree, Soups. That picture, that's one of the styles that he's talking about there, because we have the patriotic style, we have the hands, waist, and feet. Well, the waist only for males, but we got the hands and the feet and the waist in the game right now. You can get those, I believe, through like briefings and stuff.
But yeah, the chest, legs, and head and everything are still not in the game yet. Plus that one female on the right, that headpiece, never seen that before.
Oh yeah, I'm not. It's not on the screen, but yeah, I see it. That's. Yeah. I feel like that's a Remora type ish style.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not the actual Remora style.
No, it's not.
Plus, to know that the big guy and all that right there, that was supposed to be, I believe, an actual body type during the beta. Yeah, it looks like he's in the old ice armor.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I think that was supposed to be a body type that you could pick.
But all right, yeah, I think the innates do need to be moved down to percentage base since we're moving kind of towards that. But yeah, I think the percentage base innates definitely needs to be redone. I will say that at least.
The whole skill point system needs an overhaul.
I'm not really sure because I'm happy with how the skill points are. I mean, it still gives me something to achieve towards.
I can kind of see why they haven't done percentage based yet, though, because the higher our stats go, it's just gonna make it harder to scale everything to the point of where even like the previous content is just gonna be so trivial. I can see why they haven't done that, because like, say for instance, you have all these skill points, and then you have all your skill points to increase your might by 20%. That's your whole might stat. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Well, I mean,
that's just gonna keep scaling. It'd be really hard to scale.
But I mean, but keep in mind on that. I mean, even with the stat flattening they've done and everything, they've gone back and they've retweaked everything. All the previous content's already obsolete as it is. I mean,
true,
seriously,
but like,
I mean,
with the monthly
even the tier 5 stuff, you know, has become obsolete. And the monthly and all that, I mean, you've got to get the CR parity before you're going to see, you know, what your actual damage potential is. Compared
to what I'm saying, since it's monthly content now, eventually it gets to the point where even the previous month's content is now so trivial. Because you're scaling might or your stats in general just so much.
Yeah.
So that's why they haven't done it yet. Because they're probably trying to think of a way that'll make it to where, you know, content isn't gonna be so burned out that fast.
I also feel like they're waiting to balance out the powers first.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, Soul, Remainder, Pinrin, and all the other people doing those kinds of tests, they're doing fantastic jobs. And if you haven't had a chance, go to the Powers forum section of the forums. Go read some of that stuff. It's a good thread going on, even though people try to derail it still. So, before we get into our discussion of episode 15 that launched for members this past Wednesday, it's not really a plug, but Sartek, I didn't even see you had a question because you didn't say the word question, but I did see Capmon. What would you think about a hybrid power? Like an example, like a green and blue lantern, we're able to be a Green Lantern controller. Yeah, I don't want to do that either. Yeah,
no.
We have enough powers that are lanterns.
I will agree. I mean, I'm still waiting for a healer.
We need one more.
I'm still waiting for a healer. I'm still waiting for a healer. Yeah.
We need a healer, and then they can stop.
What do you think the devs did wrong with weapon mastery and advanced mechanics? Powers aren't balanced, and neither are weapons.
Powers aren't balanced, weapons aren't balanced, plus, you know, certain powers are either weapon mastery excluded or they are useless without the AM. I mean, seriously, I mean, if they were wanting to do it right, you know, to where make it, you know, back to the days of, you know, play your way and all that, you wouldn't have to use weapon mastery, you wouldn't have to use AM. You could still, you know, put together, you know, loadout that you like doing,
mix of powers and still be relatively okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had to be decent powers. I'd say, like, at least, you know, you have a couple of tier 3 powers from your power trees. in there.
Exactly, but
But
back then you could have like a stray idea of what powers to pick up, and for the most part, if you knew how to play the game, you'd be pretty okay.
Yep. So, and I know I was talking to Brittany about this yesterday. World of Warcraft just announced their next expansion, which I am excited, and at the same time,
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, the new expansion, I'm like, this is great, but at the same time, it's meh. But what I took away from it was this idea. They're redoing basically all of their spells, all their moves, all their powers from their trees, and they're splitting it between PvE...
Weapon mastery and advanced mechanics?
No. Between PvE and PvP. This new honor system that they're doing for PvP is you have a PvP tree. And in that PvP tree, relating to the power, is PvP specific moves. Like, for example, for Death Knights, we had Necrotic Plague, which gave us some healing back away from when we do the damage to an enemy player, or to an enemy. In PvE, we never really used that power. Okay, I will stand corrected. We never used that power. That was one of those things that was in our spell book. It's like, hey, look, it's right there. I'm not going to use it, but it's right there. They're now taking it away from PvE and putting it into the PvP tree. So as you level in the PvP honor system, you're going to have like the first row of powers you can unlock, and you just choose your 3 there, and then your next line, and the next line, like all the way from 1 to 50. It's weird how they do it. But I wanted to bring it to you PvPers, is if they took certain powers and made them PvP only into its own separate tree, how would you feel about it? Now,
it'd definitely be a way to fix nature and hardlight.
It'd make it to where powers feel different in PvP, at least.
Yeah, I mean, you'll... whether or not the trees in PvE...
See, there's already people out there arguing to have advanced mechanics and weapon mastery removed from PvP. So, I mean, this scenario is already being talked about in a certain way. You know, I mean, I'm not exact. I understand those complaints and, you know, where those people are coming from with that, but that would divide the PvE and PvP communities even more than they already are. So I can't agree with them being removed from PvP.
No, I mean, not, and of course in DCO it's different because we have all these different trees and everything. But say that as you're putting your points into your power trees, you can still use them in PvE, but you look to the power, like with Ferocity. Of course it's going to be used in PvE, it's a freaking breakout thing. But it'll also have a PvP aspect to it too, where if there's a certain power, it's only PvP, and you can't use it in PvE. It does split the PvE and PvP, but when I heard it, and at the same time, they may create new powers. That's the other thing, is like they may create new powers to make them PvP only, and so instead of, if you don't want to get rid of weapon mastery and advanced mechanics, well, here's your PvP tree, pick from these powers and go with it.
One thing I think you're forgetting about between WoW and DCO is, you know, WoW has a very established, you know, guidebook system that they release out, you know, with updates to their guidebooks and everything like that. Whenever they do changes like this, DCO doesn't. I mean, DCO hasn't had a guidebook since the launch guidebook, which I made the huge mistake of buying.
What, you mean like you mean the manual?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the manual at this point is basically out the window almost.
I heard that laugh, Brittany.
World of Warcraft doesn't have that.
I bought the Brittany Games guidebook at launch for this game, and if I can find it, I'm not sure where it's at.
That's an actual strategy guide, and even that gets outdated by the time the first patch rolls around.
Yeah,
the first patch opens up the next wing. You're
missing my point, though. You missed my point, though. Okay, WoW has an established guide system. I mean, they put out guides for their game on a regular basis. This game does not.
Well, for them
to go through and make all these changes, I mean, we have enough people already to play this game that don't frequent the forums, don't follow the Twitter, don't even bother tuning in to live streams. So when the changes happen to this game, I see it all the time on I know Brittany does too. We see it all the time on the game. Oh my God, what happened? I'm not doing nearly as much damage with Quantum now. We see it all the time. Wait, oh my gosh, is there a new episode today? It's like, if there's an extended downtime for the reset in the morning. If it's going to be down for 2 hours to just because they're replacing a couple of freaking things out of the servers or something like that. People come back on the game. Oh, I thought the new episode was today. Because they don't bother checking the forums. They don't bother looking for guides on this game at all. All right, so I mean, until this game starts putting out detailed guides for their powers, and the devs, like, I'm not saying that the devs aren't transparent in this regards, but I mean, sometimes, the perfect example is when the fire advance mechanic came out, and it was like pulling teeth with Tunso to try to get him to tell me what was a good loadout and rotation to use for the fire AM, because I was trying to help him sell it. To help him sell it, and he would. I mean, it was like pulling teeth, and and like Bumbling Bee from the TSI, who frequents the forums, he was there, and I finally, it took me telling him, look, I'm trying to help you guys sell this advanced mechanic with fire. Please tell me what to do so I can put a video out and tell people this is how you do it, and this is how it works, and this is how it's good. And why? And that's when he finally told me what it was. I wasn't trying to look for like any insider, track or anything like that, or get any, secrets that I wasn't going to share with everybody. But I mean, until the devs come out and say, yeah, this is the rotation, and these are the powers you should use. They're going to optimize your ability to use this power for DPSing, or for controlling, or for healing, or for tanking, right? Until the devs decide to sit up and do that, and I'm not saying, and they clearly they don't have the time to do it, and I understand that, because they are working on a lot of things right now, and power balance being the biggest thing at the moment. But until this game is able to do stuff like that, I don't see them separating powers from PvE and PvP and it being a good thing. Just like I don't see them separating weapon mastery advanced mechanics from PvP and it being a good thing. Because all you're going to do is alienate anybody who PvEs from PvP. Because they're going to go into a PvP match and they're like, well, my powers aren't working the way where, well, screw this, I'm not PvPing anymore. We get enough of that already.
WoW doesn't have that.
WoW does not update their players on regularly on power changes and changes they're making to the powers.
Oh, they do. It's the patch notes.
I don't even play WoW though, and I know they're making this change.
Yeah, it's in the patch notes. It's in news articles from other sites like MMO Champion. That's how I get my news.
All right, and keep in mind too that WoW is a PC MMO.
Correct.
Solely based in the PC realm. Correct. Right, where the vast majority of their player base frequents forums, reads the patch notes, and does all that.
Correct.
This game doesn't. I mean, for crying out loud, Balkan the other day tweeted out about the Omegas not having the freaking percentile shit in them. We talked about this last week. Balkan tweeted out about the Omegas only increasing your stats by 5. What the hell is this? These aren't any good. I told him flat out. I was like, well, if you read the patch notes, it says 5%. Oh, well, I don't go to the forums for little stuff like that. That's the mind base of the majority of the player base for this game.
And that is a delivery method that that DCUO does need to fix. It does need to send like an in-game message or something. It's like, hey, make sure to visit the forums. But at the same time, MMOs, Even for other games as well, even for Call of Duty. Call of Duty has forums too. Folks have to follow the social media. They have to go to the forums to learn this stuff. With World of Warcraft, the devs give this information, but they don't give out the perfect loadout. They rely that on the players. The players create the guides. They create the YouTube videos. They do all of this for the developers. And that's where DCO is kind of missing. And because we do our part. We have a podcast. We have our separate channels. We do as much as possible. But at the end of the day, it's up to the players to research for their own. The devs can't hand out everything. Now, I mean, the idea of this PvP tree, when I was watching it on the stream, I thought it was brilliant. Because there are powers that just sit in your even right now, you only use 6 powers. Everything else is just sitting there. I mean, you can switch out stuff, but you don't really use it. Those could be a PvP thing. Possibly. Probably not. But it's just an idea for DCO for us to bring to the idea of the community of having a separate PvP tree. And honestly, PvE players are still going to be not want to do PvE, because even if you take away weapon mastery and advanced mechanics, even before then, I still didn't want to do it, mainly because it just brought out the toxicity of players. That's why I don't PvP. I mean, sure, I might joke around, it's like, yeah, I kicked his ass, woo, but that's where I stop. Other players do not. They continue on into a 30-minute rant of how they're going to do my mother and destroy my entire home. But that's just certain players, not the entire community. But the idea of having a separate tree for PvP powers, it does introduce a certain type of balance where it's like you might not be able to use your advanced mechanic in PvP. Sure, you use all the time in PvE, but in PvP, it's a whole different ballgame. You got these powers to choose from. Make up your loadout and have fun. Or try to. Whichever. Depending on the powers. But it's just an idea. And I really enjoyed that looking at the WoW live stream. It's like, well, that does bring in a little different aspect to the gameplay. I mean, I'm sure you could probably use your PvE powers still, but there's only going to be certain powers you choose by how much you play in PvP. Also, they're using their prestige system like Call of Duty. Ugh. I mean, cool, you get cosmetic stuff like a new mount, but I was like, ugh, I don't need it. I don't want Call of Duty prestige in my MMO. No, thank you. No, thank you. Brittany might. She likes horses. But it really is up to the community, up to us, to like, hey, what's the best load? Because I even asked Brittany, what's the best loadout for melee? And she gave it to me. And now I could probably go out after testing it with it for a month, and it's like, all right, well, here's a loadout for melee. Try it out. Oh, this melee sucks. Well, offer something better. Offer something better. And it just begins into the discussion of what power is what for which loadout. And that's up to the community. That's up to us who do the podcasts, who do the YouTubes. It's like we help the community, we start discussions, and we find out what is the best.
Catmon's in the chat here. So saying we need an in-game newsletter like a Gotham Now or Daily Planet, where we can go and read on updates and other stuff. Catmon, it's a fantastic idea. Guess what? If you go to your character select and you press L2 on your, look at the other screen on your character and all that, it gives you a list of all the new updates that happen in the game.
Yep.
Also, if they didn't have that, what's the other way they would do it? Through in-game email to your characters. One, that's a lot of emails to send out in-game to characters. Yeah. Two, do you remember who sent you your reward for completing the new investigation in episode 15?
It was Lois Lane.
Yeah, I remember that. But, what I'm saying, the vast majority of people don't even bother reading those.
I do not. I definitely got my...
I read them. I forget them after a couple minutes, but, I mean, I read them at least.
Yeah, even the what is it? The MOTD, whatever of the day. I can't even remember what it means. Message of the day. Even the message of the day, right there in red, when you start up, it shows up when I load, but it doesn't mean it's going to stay there in my chat window as it's scrolling through when people are going through LFG. I know it's there, but it doesn't mean it's going to stay there, and I have to scroll up to see what it is. But the message of the day from the developers is another route that they do. It doesn't really work sometimes because the chat's going 90 miles an hour.
And half the time when a world announcement comes up, I see about 30,000, shut up, Meps, fix PvP.
That too.
Shouts in the watchtower. So, I mean, it's like... and Gentleman Wolf, see, the mindset you have right there with your comment, he says they screwed up when they made it to where you needed PvP feats to be the best at PvE. Honestly, for a long time, that concept, right, you just said, was reversed. I've had a lot of people, friends of mine, who quit playing the game because they didn't have to PvE so they could PvP. Getting the feats and all that so they could, heal better, hit harder, and all that stuff in PvP. But you see, that's the main problem with this game right now, is it so much separates PvP from PvE.
But it has to be separate.
Gear-wise, I completely understand it and all that, but I mean, they made so many changes. I mean, the support roles were almost useless unless you're a damn healer in arenas. Tanking is pointless because they've nerfed the crap out of tanks, except for fire. Apparently, I don't know. I've never fire tank PvP, in that regards, as far as doing 1v1s and stuff. But I mean, they have to be separate. I'm not saying they shouldn't be separate, but as far as doing things that divide the community, no, they can't be doing that kind of stuff. The game's not big enough.
It's not.
The game's not big enough for them to be dividing the community like that.
And I'm even going back to my vanilla WoW days, and it was definitely two separate communities. We definitely had the PvP community and the PvE. So, I mean, I will have to say that the PvE concept is definitely tied in, because, feat points, skill points, it's tied in heavily within each other. And at this point, they don't have a way to separate it. Because I feel that the only way I could see that they would do it is the PvP feats are truly separated, where you can't use where the PvP feats are in their separate column of skill points, and you can use those skill points for a PvP thing. Of course, it's spitballing. I don't have anything concrete to even think about it, but that's basically what it is. But at that point, you take away skill points that you've gotten. It messes up a whole bunch of math. I just smell copper. Does anyone taste copper? Just got weird.
I'm trying not to bite my tongue right now, or else I would.
But I mean, it has to. PvE and PvP it is two separate communities. With this game, we are tied together because of how we don't have a leveling system. We have a skill point system, and so those skill points are tied together. Now, true, those PvP feat points got me to PvP. It did, because I want them done. I want them out of my system forever. I don't want to do them anymore. But, okay. So, long ass discussion. Sorry about that. Just a thought.
I'll end with, there should never be an MMO where you can get one shot in a PvP match.
No, I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. I mean, the main thing that that has to do with, though, is the scaling, CR scaling with the gear, and everything. And, people are power scaling on it. I mean,
it's tough. It's
and
really
power
tough.
balancing. I mean, it's a tough balance to make. But I mean, and part of the issue I feel is the way they went with the damage mitigation for PvP gear. I mean, the main stat that's supposed to mitigate or the damage we take in, toughness, is like a quarter of what our health is. That makes no sense to me at all.
All right, so let's go in to episode 15. Lighter note for some. So episode 15 launched this past Wednesday for members. It will be on sale next week on the 12th. And yes, I do have two $10 PSN cards to give away at the end of the show. I didn't have enough to actually get a Steam card because Steam cards come in increments of 20, 50, and 100. Damn it, Steam. You couldn't give me a $10 card? Really? There's things less than $10 on that damn system. But anyways, I digress. So, episode 15, our first monthly content. So good. We gained a new duo and a new raid. And what we lost is didn't we lose a duo and an alert? No, we lost a raid.
We lost a duo, an alert, and a raid.
No, we only lost 2.
Now, once you get to 127, you return to Nexus no longer grants you any rewards. Oh, we didn't lose a duo.
It was Nexus and
an alert and a raid. Alert and a raid.
Yeah. So we lost. Once you hit 127, you lose Lab and Nexus, the raid and the alert. They will be missed. So, first thing I want to talk about is the gear. In this gear, in the duo and the raid, the normal / trash loot is item level 112. All right, and it is an upgrade for some. What was in Happiness Home? What was the item level for that stuff? 110.
Yes.
110 was yeah.
Okay, so with this episode, even the people who ran and abused Happiness Home, you guys get an upgrade in trash greens, and they drop in both the duo and the raid.
And you can't really call them trash greens because you're gonna need them if you want to get to 131.
That's right. Because this is the kicker that everyone apparently misses. You have a full set in the greens. You have all the pieces of greens in 112. That's where all the pieces are. In this episode, we have access to the legs, belt, hands, and feet, right? Those are the 4?
Waist, not hands.
Oh, waist. Thank you. Waist and feet, and... No, hold on. I thought I said waist.
No, okay, the vendor stuff and the stuff that's dropping with 116 higher. 116 higher is the chest, legs, back, and waist.
Chest. Gotcha. Yeah. So those are the ones that are dropping in, like Soup said, in 116 and 120. Those are dropping the duo and the raid. The duo drops the 112s and 116. 116 is the rare. In the raid, you have the 112s, normal, the 116 that are rare, and the 120s that are rarer. And they're super rare. And the one time I ran the raid this past Wednesday, which Brittany is apparently still shocked, I ran current content. Because that raid is so fun. It's just fun. I was able to get the chest piece. The 120 chest piece, the energy armor. Shit is wicked. Love it. Absolutely love it. I wish it glowed a black aura like all the other colors, but it doesn't. So I had to keep it red. So how do we feel about the gear that drops? I want to hear
I
from
don't like the green. Gross.
Are you just not liking the fact that it's voodoo?
No, I don't like the fact that it's green. It's gross. Like, I wish it was blue. I just wish it was blue or something, because I don't know. Green gear is just gross.
Okay.
It is. Like, if you look at your gear and you have all purples and then half of it's green, like, it's just
soon, Brittany. soon. It's gonna be okay.
Gross.
You'll replace it next month and the month after. I have
still gross.
Soups, what about you?
I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, I've almost got vendor stuff. I just have to get the bag for my tank gear and everything. But you know, my main issue with it, like, you know, you brought up, you know, is the styles. I mean, it's just, you know, regurgitating these drop styles constantly in like freaking everything we do. You know, when there's like rare drop styles they could be using instead, that would make more sense and game content.
Yeah, because the voodoos are green, necromancy is blue, and then the purple in the raids are the energy armors for this.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like everybody else. I'm okay with I am super okay with the greens. For the fact is that I definitely boosted my CR for my DPS and my tank style, but I'm I'm gearing up my DPS more because it has a lower CR. And at this point, it's pretty well even with my tank now, which I'm really happy about. So super excited. And thank you 112s and some of the 116s I have gotten in that 120 that I am okay with. I have the chest piece. I feel like I've won. I'm done with the raid. I will try and get the feats, and then once I get the feats, I'm like, all right, I'm super done. I don't need the gear. I don't care. I got the chest piece. It's the best item. Now, when we had the choice for putting your emblem there, I was like, sweet, that's awesome. I was really hoping that we had like a choice of maybe like the lantern emblems, but that's not the case. Because we don't have those. I wish we did. Oh my god, Brittany, you click so loud.
Sorry.
She ain't.
No, she's not. So I had to choose like some gem as my emblem there, but I still got my red lantern symbol on my back. But the energy chest is pretty wicked. I really do like it. Yes, you can change the color for the energy armor. Right now, mine's red because I'm a red lantern. And I changed it to black, and there was no glow. No glow whatsoever. But I guess that's on purpose. Black really can't have a glow, I guess. I don't know. I just want the Black Lantern aura. That would be fantastic.
That would be kind of cool.
Alright, so let's move on to... I mean, we've already covered this content before because I was on test. But live, as we always know, live is a different beast. So let's go into Zamoron, Corrupted Zamoron, the duo. There are some issues that are being fixed in a hot fix, mainly the School of Hard Knocks feat. That fix is coming because right now,
what's wrong with
that? I've ran it every time, and maybe like 3 times I haven't used my consumable. The bug is that whoever enters the duo first, when the door corruption goes away, whoever walks into that door first, or actually, no, I'm sorry, whoever zones in first from the queue, I believe. Whoever zones in first, they are guaranteed to get defeat. The partner is not.
I have not seen that happen.
I can say I've done it. And Jack Frost on the forums has confirmed it, that it was in fact whoever enters the instance first, they get that feat. So that fix is coming. Another bug in the instance is Indigo 1 will probably get trapped between like a crystal or something. That's going to get fixed where she's going to stay closer. She'll port if have to. If she gets too far away from the players, she'll port to them. So that'll fix. I never saw it, but apparently that was a thing. And apparently the crystals that attack Hawk Girl were actually, or they're supposed to attack Indigo 1. They were attacking Hawk Girl and damaging her as well. That's been fixed. So now it's going to hit Indigo, or it's going to hit the player if they're in between the beam and Indigo 1. So you'll take damage from that. And I believe he's also fixing a bit of a difficulty with Hawk Girl. Apparently, she's not up to snuff.
Oh, I was going to say there was an issue with her difficulty because that duo is like super easy.
It's basically the first and second bosses are the really only difficult ones. Really have mechanics. Hot Girl is like, oh, it's Fatal Exam's Hot Girl. Yay, she's back. But apparently that's not the case. She's actually getting a little bit of increased damage. There's something going on that there's like maybe a mechanic something that was broken. And so that's getting fixed.
Is there mechanics for the first and second fight? Because I just burned through it and I never even see it.
Well, I think it's the second one. He's got an AoE he puts out around himself that will one-shot the bejesus out of you.
That's the first boss. If you don't... I've seen it where we've burnt him so fast, he's never done it. But yeah. if you have a quality burn and it's not completely fast, once he gets to 50%, he'll put the skull over his head, and it is the first boss from NGN. You have to block, or else you practically get one-shotted. The second boss doesn't have that same one-shot ability. I feel I can't remember what the second boss really does, but the only thing that really pisses me off is they'll both summon those gray vortexes, the vortex corruptions in those raids, and they'll be spread out at first. But then the farther along you get into the fight, those bitches will stack on one person, and you just you'll be lucky, just lucky if you can get out of there fast enough. Because even at 126. In my tank, I was still taking damage. Luckily, I could live through it. But as DPS, it basically almost took me down to like 10% health. So once they stack on you, I don't like that. But as spread out, you'll take some damage, but it's nothing to fear. And that's what those two bosses do. Hot Girl, like I said, is Fatal Exams. She's one-handed. She'll spin around. She'll knock you away. Blah. There's nothing really to her. Just nothing. But now that it's on live, are we still liking the duo? I mean, this is your first. You weren't able to test it, were you?
Yeah, the duo's fun. I mean, I knocked out all the feats, the first day.
Yeah.
And my partner got the Hard Knocks feat too, so I don't know where that issue was coming from.
Yeah, because I thought it was just. Oh, there was also another bug that I got last night. Was when we defeated the first boss, I couldn't open my loot in that instance. I hit L, I hit my up button, my loot would not open for me. And I don't know.
That's been across the whole game. That happens occasionally. Yeah.
This is my first time experiencing
that's happened to a couple league mates in NGN. It's happened in HH. That tends to happen.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to report it because this is my first time ever seeing it and ever hearing about it too. But yeah, I still enjoy the duo. It's still fun, and I love it when people were hearing some of the pugs on PC talking about like, oh my god, we need help with Talia al Ghul. Like, well, jackasses, did you farm the duo to get everything up to snuff? Because I still follow an MMO protocol where you run the low, you run duos, you run your alerts, get the gear from there, and then you go into a raid. I mean, if you're like a solid group of league mates, a tight-knit form, sure, hit the raid on launch day and have the issues. But I'm probably going to gather as much gear from the duo as possible and then actually go like, all right, we can do this. Let's do this raid. Because, especially as a rage tank, it sucks. Just, Lashing Claw sucks. So, talking about the raid, Bombshell Paradox. Yay! The issues. You know, viewers, I don't know why it has to really be said, but
you're a cheating bunch of fucks.
That. But if you have to stand on a table and you're not taking damage, you're doing it wrong. I don't care if the rest of the group's like, oh, the rest of the group still has to worry about vortexes, so it seems legit. It's not legit. Where in your mindset do you think it's purpose? In the corner of the room does not mean it's a safe zone. It works for apparently 13 times for one person, but it just annoys. You don't stand on a table. You just don't. And luckily those are getting fixed. No more table standing. The vortexes are gonna pop up in corners. So, boom.
Yeah, and people, I'm sorry. You know, I mean, I'm seriously. If you find something, a tactic in this game, to where, you know, as a tank, you're taking absolutely no damage while you're still holding aggro, that is not part of a legitimate guide to beating the raid.
No.
So don't post that crap on the forums.
Apparently, yeah. That's what I was hearing. Apparently, it's part of the unofficial guide for Bombshell Paradox.
Bunch of elite and competent idiots out there.
Yep. And don't brag because you did it 13 times and you cheated. No. Why? Why brag about it? Oh, because you're 131, 3 days into the episode. Congratulations. Don't care. And okay, so there, I kind of find it funny, but there is an issue with the bombs. There was a bug that was found. I think that's actually getting fixed, but I can't really talk too much about it because I think that was CRT stuff. The stuff that Ticken brought up, that was CRT, right?
Yeah, I don't think that was strictly the bomb zone. I think that was the first boss.
I thought it would happen on Lashing Claw as well.
I think it may happen on the second boss too.
Okay. So yeah, that's
just funny though. That's one
that
of those. That's one of those things you find out where you're like, oh, this is cool. It needs to be fixed though.
Yeah. So I think I saw Quantum talk about the Kali duel. She gets stuck in a cutscene. I never experienced that. I know I was actually kind of pissed when we first went in. I got like, I hit severe punishment. I'm like, all right, let's do this. Lunge to her. All of a sudden, a cutscene. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I just got amped for nothing for a speech.
I don't get that cutscene starting right after you attack her.
Yeah, it's so weird placed.
Normally the cutscenes start up and then before you fight, and then you can attack and everything.
I would like the cutscene to start when you open the gate. Not when you walk in, but like you hit the console to open it, it opens up, and then it's the cutscene, and then you have a chance to walk into the room. That's good. But I was kind of like, my amped up energy was wasted. It's like, let's do what the hell I have to sit here and listen. I don't want to listen to this anymore.
That was the first time I went to tank it too. Lunged in flame. You're on fire, bitch! What are you talking to me for? You're on fire!
Are you screaming? You should be screaming. You're on fire.
I mean, some of the old cutscenes are like that too. Like, you can start the fight and then they'll be talking, and then some of your effects are still hitting them. So they're like talking to you, and they're like breaking their back, trying to like do just stand still. I'm just like, wow.
somebody from your group that was far enough away not to get hit by the cutscene is in there standing there punching them in the face.
Exactly. Like you just look at them like, well.
There's another bug in the, I want to say, the southwest corner of the room. There's a hole in the wall. There's a hole where I was tanking Talia al Ghul. I rage-bringed a bunch of ads, and one of the ads went over my head into the wall, and they're on the other side of that wall. I couldn't attack him. I couldn't even get him to come back to me. He was just stuck in there, moving around. He wasn't hitting me or anything. I'm like, oh, well, I want to take Talia away from this corner. Let's move over here. But as the queen of the Bombshell Paradox raid, Brittany, how have you been enjoying it on live? Hold on, she's waking up from her nap.
Yep. Hold on, we'll wait. You know, she just has to realize that she was on a podcast.
Yeah. She probably went to the restroom. Without typing in chat.
Wow. She's really just kind of just here to be here.
We need a woman
But
on the show.
apparently she's the one who gets remembered.
Yeah, but yeah, she's the one that's remembered. Oh, shit. Jareth. Yeah, I remembered your name, Jareth. Jerk.
She's farming. Wouldn't surprise me. But the Bombshell Paradox raid is quite fun. They're also fixing the feet. Something about the Catwoman and Harley Quinn feet. I'm not really sure what's going on. Oops, sorry. What else is in there? The raid was fun. That's basically all I can say. If you are a rage tank, the second boss, you're going to have a bad time. Alright, so yeah, Brittany had to go handle some stuff. She had to go lay the smackdown on some people.
Why? Lee and Varner in the chat on the stream.
So being an earth tank, or I'm sorry, a rage tank. Well, being a rage tank was fun. I definitely got one-shotted a lot of times, where it just went over my health pool, and I had everything going. It's just whoop, whatever. Just screw you, Trex. You're dead. The second boss was Lashing Claw. Was tough as an earth tank, or as a rage tank. I'm sorry, because we need mobs. We can't single tank one thing. We have to have more people around us for our mechanic. We need that. And Lashing Claw, you don't have that. You just don't. Then Talia al Ghul, I did fail. Tanking it just fine, but once the second ads come up, and because they always spawn on the opposite side of you, I just trying to pick them up just wasn't happening. And at the same time, folks were dying from the vortexes, and when the vortexes are getting fixed as well, because they weren't disappearing right away when someone with the corruption walked into them. That's being fixed. As soon as you get corruption, you walk to a vortex, it's going to go away. It might come back, but that's just a risk you're just gonna have to take. But also, the visual effects for the corruption might not be proper, but look at your HUD. Look for what, a red heart? That's the debuff.
Usually a red heart and a red shield.
Look for those two, and you have the corruption. Or if you're taking a lot of damage and you don't know why, which on a tank, it's going to be you really need to pay attention, because that's going to hurt. But how have you been enjoying the Bombshell Paradox raid?
Better ask Vagrant that question.
Vagrant hasn't ran it.
Yep, I haven't had a chance to.
Oh my god.
How many cheats have you been in grouped with?
Well, day one, I went in there. It was a decent group and all that. It just wasn't happening because people weren't, the corruptions weren't clearing and everything like that. And, the vortices weren't, getting removed. It just wasn't happening. I ended up getting frustrated and having to leave. Of course, in the middle of it, that Brittany, sends me a tell. She said, hey, you want to run the new raid with us? And I was like, I would, but I don't want to ditch this group like this. I'm trying to do the right thing, And now I've been kicking myself ever since, because, I could have, freaking gone and run it with, a group that, communicates and pays attention and, works well together and gotten, several runs through it, yesterday, whereas opposed to, having yet to beat the damn thing. And then today, oh my god, I wanted to choke these two guys that were in my group today This is pug life, folks. We're going through here, and I swear to God, I mean, they were talking like they'd done it before, but they were acting like they'd never done it before. Because, you know, there's a feat for finding all of the stealth assassins in there, right? So we're going through and all that, and there's only like one area, maybe two areas, two spots where you're gonna miss some of the stealth assassins. That's that big hangar area, and then there's the area with the catwalk up above, which I think got fixed between yesterday and today, because they spawned in down below today. But so these guys, they keep seeing, it's like, you know, we rescued Wonder Woman, you know, talked to her and all that. The next one was going to be, the next one for the second boss was Harley. You know, so we're coming up on these, you know, that we come up on that one catwalk where you can see the other two bombshells, you know, fighting off to the side.
Yeah.
You know, and one of them was like, yeah, we're supposed to get down there somehow and help them out. And I'm like, oh my God, no, you're not. You know, so I just kind of ignored it and everything because he didn't really like mention anything about it again. Then we get over to this one. We get over to this one area where it comes out into where, you know, the big mecha is at. You know, and Supergirl's off on this one catwalk fighting these two assassins, and these two guys stood over there by that where that investigation's at. I shit you not, for 10 minutes, refusing to read League Chat, refusing to listen to anybody talking in League Chat, or in the group chat, telling them to stop. It was pointless. Over there trying to get aggro on those two assassins over there so we could fight them. Because they thought they were part of the feat. Even though one of the guys specifically read the feat, and where it says, the stealth assassins. You know, I finally had to unmute my mic and like yell into it so they'd actually hear me, because they weren't listening to anybody else. I actually practically yell into it to tell them, look, the only ones we've missed so far are probably ones back in the hangar because we didn't go exploring around in it. I was like, now we can go back to the hangar, find those and everything, but those two over there we don't need. And then we go in for the taller boss fight, and as soon as we get in there, the guy's like, okay, everybody come over here on the left side. Everybody stand over here. Stand right up here like this. He goes in, he starts to fight, okay, which activates the cutscene. You know, there's maybe 3 people that are actually inside. Well, by the time the cutscene's over, guess what? Doors closed, can't port in. So then he's like, oh, you guys didn't, nobody else is in here? Why didn't you guys come in? And I'm like, because you started the fight without everybody actually being in the goddamn room, idiot. And then he tries it one more time, of course, you know, trying to glitch it. And then it's like, I ain't got time for this, man. And he fucking leaves. So then we get another tank in there. He tries to show us this other way to glitch it. And all that, which is actually going in the corner and everything.
Yeah, where the computers are?
No, just going and standing in a corner where one of the vortices wouldn't spawn at. Yeah. Try going over, you know, everybody staying in that corner right there. You know, so we're over there, and because one of the guys was gadgets, you know, and, you know, of course, you know, he can't do any damage unless he's EMP and everything. So he goes out there and starts, you know, he stays up there on top of that. Well, you know, he gets killed. So somebody goes out there to pick him up. Well, then that person dies. You know, and it's just, you know, fucking domino effect. You know, and then, you know, of course, we end up wiping, and the guy's like, say, man, you guys a bunch of idiots, blah, 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 blah. You know, I was like, you know, I'm not sitting in here putting up with somebody calling, you know, being belligerent, who's fucking cheating, and I left. I was like, I'm done. So, yeah, I'm not having fun with the new op.
Rage quit.
Yeah. Which is understandable. It really is. I mean, I'm only gonna. I've plugged it. I plugged it twice, and they were okay runs. It could have gone a lot better. I've ran it, of course, one time with folks from Goonies and Odyssey, which, excuse me, I feel like I kind of annoyed a couple of the Odyssey folks. Like, Bob, I annoy Bob all the time, but that's a playful annoy. I think I really annoyed her this time. I mean, I got new gear and I forgot to put my home turf mods in, so that's a bad on me. But, but I mean, I died from, from the bosses because, I mean, they just went over my health pool. It just did. There was no way around it. But the last fight, it was my fault. I didn't transition well enough into, the second ads that spawned across the room. I even said, like, I need a little bit more. I know I have to get a little more work. And of course, one of the other guys like, well, maybe how about you mod your stuff? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I gotta get my home turf mods because I forgot. But I mean, anything else, I'm not gonna waste my marks of victory on modding anything that's gonna be replaced soon. That's just me. That's just me. But I am gonna mod my 120 because I feel like I'm gonna be using that for a while. So good.
Yeah, considering the 120 is the highest.
Exactly. And at the same time,
that's probably gonna get replaced next patch too, isn't it?
No. We won't get a new chest until what is it?
2 months from now.
Yeah.
Episode 7.
Episode 17. Yeah.
Nope.
Or 18.
Yeah. 15, 16. Yeah, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 18. 18 is the next one. Yeah. But yeah, it's. I mean, I don't like disappointing a group. I really don't. I even streamed it. I mean, I did my damnedest. I was stressing. I was focused. But shit just happened. I think I rage crashed twice that entire run. Everything else was just getting 19k hit and just destroyed, just getting one-shotted, which is really crazy. But hopefully my home turf mods now will fix that. Yay. But I still enjoyed it. It's a really fun raid. I love the atmosphere. Of course, I didn't get any of the feats in the raid because we were just focusing on focused in it. Because some of us were doing it for the first time, so we had to give out strategies and stuff, and there were probably some issues with some other DPS players, which kind of irked me a bit. But I have to say it. Someone actually, our top DPSer, right? He was top DPS. He was number 1. Blah blah blah. Out of 5 DPSs that we had, I mean, we even had one DPS switching between DPS and heal. So we had 3 main DPSers, okay? In our 3 DPSs, or really 4, we had a third. And it was a Quantum DPS, he was 122. Other DPSs, a 125 and a 126. The 126 asked, hey, third DPS, why are you so low in damage? I'm like, is he asking this fucking math question? When he's like 2 skill CR points higher, and you're asking this math question, why is his damage so lower than yours? You fucking serious? You're retarded. Of course he's gonna be low. There has to be a third. Guess what? He's the 3rd highest DPS, or 3rd highest CR. He's gonna be 3rd. That's his place. If he was a 125 or a 126 with you in 3rd, I still wouldn't be mad because, God forbid, there has to be a 3rd person. 3, 4 DPSs, someone has to be 3rd. Don't question why he's 3rd when he has a lower CR than you. Yeah, that's math.
Yeah, I mean, I don't normally question a DPS who's like not performing well, unless their like numbers are like really freaking low. The only time I'll actually say anything to a DPS though is when, I don't know, say I'm tanking and I'm out DPSing them.
Okay, first off, if a tank beats a DPS, we have an issue. That's some serious issues there. But I still hold up, whereas like if a controller beats a DPS, the DPS needs to do something. Something needs to change with the DPS. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a pretty. There were failures on my part as a tank because I died. I got one-shotted, but other than that, the run went pretty well, and I really enjoyed the raid. And I'm gonna be doing it again this weekend sometime when I can. But I am more or less waiting for the next episode, which brings us a new solo and our first elite alert.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely going to be on some of that. Which I can't wait. Yay. So, any final thoughts on episode 15 for now?
No.
Any tips that you can give? Any tips we can give the free-to-play and the premium members who are going to be doing this on this coming Wednesday? Any tips that we can give them?
Pro tip, guys. All right, if you are like a DPS, all right, and you queue up for a duo, and you go in there, and there's somebody who's playing their support role, sitting back and refusing to help clear out the ads in the hallway is not going to be beneficial towards you, right? Ridiculous.
Wait, what?
I felt bad for him, man, because that was before reset. All right, for everybody that doesn't know in the chat, I had a buddy of mine. You guys may know him, Dark Horus.
Wait, this happened to Horus?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
I woke up early this morning, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna knock out my duos at least before reset. I get on, and you know, he happened to be up, you know, and on and up too, and all that, and he was figuring he was doing the same thing. He was on his electric healer, 122 CR, it's respectable CR, all right, for queuing up the duo. But he was going in there as a healer. He likes playing his main roles. He doesn't like DPSing. He queues up into the Zam duo with a 126, I'm assuming ice DPS. All right. Well, I happened to notice he was streaming. So, you know, I go look at the stream and all that, and, you know, and I asked him, I was like, is that guy, you know, his partner's not with him at all. I mean, he's just, you know, fighting like 5 or 6 ads at the same time. Partner's not helping him at all. So, you know, I sent him to him. I was like, dude, where is your partner at? You know, and, you know, why is he not helping? And, he was like, yeah, he just, like, you know, he didn't say anything. He just, like, refuses to help. He's just not, you know, keeping up or anything like that. So I was like, well, I'm going to ask him. So I sent the guy a tell. I'm like, dude, why aren't you helping your partner out in that duo, man? And he's like, man, I ain't helping his healer ass out. I don't carry. I was like, well, asshole. It looks to me like he's carrying you because he's clearing all the ads out. Dude was in there for over an hour. Right?
Oh
Dark's kind of stubborn. I mean, I did offer. I was like, dude, I'll get on it all, man. I'll run with you right now. He's like, nope, because if I leave, he wins. Because he'd probably end up getting another DPS to come in and help him out. You know? And he was, you know, in a way, he's right. Stubborn, but he was right. You know?
Fucking Horus.
But yeah, he was in there for an hour. I mean, the guy raced in and freaking beat the first boss. But then made him do the second boss by himself, and I don't think he said he didn't get it done. Before the server shut down this morning. I felt bad for him though.
That is bad.
Like, you know, and I'm not a huge fan of running with people in their main roles. I'm honestly not. But you know, I change up my play style when I'm doing that. Like if I'm going in there and like somebody's wanting to troll, I'm like, fantastic, dude. I have not weapon masteried with shield in a while. Let's do this, you know. Same thing, you know, if there's like a healer, you know, or something like that. You know, I'll do the same thing. As, oh man, I'm meleeing the crap out of this thing. And I'm gonna put him to work, you know. And you know, if there's a tank, man, I will sit back and just burn everything, you know, to cinders.
That's right. He is your partner.
Yeah.
And that's what happened when I ran it the first time, because I went in as a DPS with Cosmic, who is a 122, 120, I think he was a 124 quantum DPS, and I went in as a apparently 115 DPS because my gear was that low. And I'm like, oh, I'm 115 on DPS. This ought to be fun. I was like, all right, first off, if you are below 120, you're going to do jack squat in these instances, okay? You're going to do practically no damage. It's going to hurt. So at 115, I died, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Screw this. Switch to tank, 122, let's rock this. And I went in, and I tanked everything. I was doing weapon mastery. He was quantum DPS, and he had no problems with ads. We worked as a team and did it. Just did it.
See, I've got no problem with people in their main role doing their job in that main role.
Yeah.
In a duo. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. It's the guys that I was in a League Hall duo last week, or no, just a couple days ago. In a League Hall duo with a tank. I have no idea what power he was because all he was using was staff weapon mastery attacks and lasso.
Exactly.
That was it. That was all he was doing.
Yeah, and of course, oh my god, it was it was launch day. It was episode 15 launch day on Wednesday, and I'm at work, or a place I call work. I call it hell, and I think I was during the morning. I do my morning paperwork. I also bag on board my comics because I need something to do during the day, and so when I finally
at work, folks. While he's at work.
While I'm at work.
He calls this a job that he hates, and he does shit like this while he's there.
I hate it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to sit at my job and do not my job. Of course, I handle customers that smell like crap and are drunk, high, degenerates, criminals.
What's your job? What do you do?
I work in a scale house at a recycling center. People bring in like washer and dryers, steel, aluminum to recycle, and I have to weigh them. And they try having conversations with me. I am not at the conversation level with these people, and I never will. I get their ID, I shut my window, type it up, open it, give them their ticket, shut it again, and move them on their way.
Yeah, I bet if you smoked meth, you would be.
I bet I would. I bet I would. But anyway,
I got bigger to laugh.
So at my pseudo horrible job, I finally got on my computer and I went to the forums, and the first thread I find is talking about I'm not carrying these people. I'm like, I freaking knew it. I knew it, because you can walk in at 113. Mind you, these enemies are CR 131. You are not going to do anything to them. You are, what's that thing that you use to pick stuff out of your teeth? What's that thing?
Toothpick?
Thank you. You're a toothpick to them. You do jack nothing to these enemies as a 113. So... And of course, when you queue up for a duo, you might get a 113 or someone other lower than 120, and you might be above 120. This isn't a carry situation. They're going to do as much as they can. They're damaging, not a lot, but they're there to help. And there are people who refuse to run with these people. And I find that disgusting. When you walk into an instance, don't judge a book by their cover. Because at the same time, that might be an alt to a 131. Well, now, it might be an alt that he's just wanting to get some gear done, and you leave like a jackass because you misrepresented him. You judged him, and we don't judge here. Well, we try not to, but we do.
My biggest question would be, why in God's green earth are you wasting time being a freaking jackass?
Yeah.
Right?
That's my
You're not.
I'm
not gonna help this guy out. Do you really want to be in the instance for an extra 30 minutes because you don't feel like playing the game? Apparently. Especially when it's at a time when the game's gonna shut down. You're gonna have to rerun the whole fucking thing again if you don't beat it right now. So, why not just goddamn, beat it?
Yeah.
You know, it just makes no sense to me.
I mean, I understand, and this is where the mindset of players is like they don't want to spend. I think 10, 15, even 20 minutes is probably the max that people want to be in a duo. And if they see a 113, there's like, oh, you know what? I don't want to do this. I don't want to be with this guy. I'm out. I don't want to do this. I'll deal with the deserter for a minute and I'll be gone. But no, you run with them because you guys want people in game. You want more people in game. That 113, he's a future in gamer. He's trying to get geared to be in the in game. That's where he wants to be. Now, and of course, even the thread was like, why do we even allow 113s in here? This is lame. And of course, I had to respond. Oh, that's because someone created a thread asking to be 113 because some people didn't buy Halls of Power Part 2 because they didn't want to, because it's their right as a player. And they even listed that all these other DLCs or episodes we didn't have to buy. We were able to skip them, i.e. I skipped the Halls of War of the Light Part 2. I did because during that 3 months I just didn't really want to play, or I just had other things going on. So I did skip I skipped an episode. Did it hurt when I went into Amazon Fury Part 2? You better believe it. That Patrol Catastrophe could kiss my tail because it was so rough going at such a low CR. But now I'm okay. And everyone else can too. It takes time. Because that 113 will get an item level 112 piece of gear from that duo. And his thing is going to skyrocket. The gear he gets in there that's usable for him is going to jump him up to possibly 117 or even 119. It's going to happen. You have to run with them so they can get higher. Is it going to take a little while? Yeah. Yeah, it's going to take a little while. And patience is going to have to be your friend. But you'll get it done and you'll be more satisfied. Because then, maybe a couple weeks down the line, you're going to see that player again. And he's going to be over 120. And he's going to see you and you're going to look at him. Your eyes are going to connect. And you're going to go, hey, I remember you. And he's like, yeah, thank you for believing in me. Thank you for running that duo with me.
I don't know what kind of freaking lovely world you're in.
Yeah, no shit. What fantasy world are you? Are you playing WoW again?
The most I would do is just like, oh hey, we ran a duo the other day. Cool. I did have somebody on the game, acquaintance on the game and all that, send me a tell yesterday saying, hey, you want to run the Zam duo? And I'm like, well, I already ran it, but if you want to carry one of my alts, I'll run with you. And he's like, all right. So I hop on my electric, who is 115 healer gear and 113 DPS. And I grouped up with him, and he was like, oh, you're going to make me work for it. I was like, dude, I'll switch to healer. I was like, and you can just have fun. I was like, he was like, no, it's cool, but we ran it, it was no big deal. That's people, that's somebody that, I vaguely know. And, in passing and everything like that. But I've yet to queue up the duo on my alts that are not, up there, or not at least 120 with their CR for their DPS gear. And I'm probably going to be healing that duo when I pug it. And if that guy, whoever that guy is, if I get somebody like that, you know what? I won't even clear the ads. I'll sit there at the freaking beginning with them. I don't care. I will sit there at the beginning with them. I was like, either you start going, buddy, and I'll heal you, or I've got all day.
Yep. and running with someone as a support, especially as a DPS. Your ass needs to you're a DPS. You might be even a ranged DPS or whatever. That ad is going to hit you. So you either have a couple of options. You either have a controller to help debuff them and help give some power back to you, or have a healer that's going to heal you, and you're pretty much going to take all that hate. So you're basically a pseudo tank, or you have a tank who's going to take all that damage, and you can just do all the blowing up crap all you want. That's all. It's silly to not run with a support player. Of course, the ideal that you want to have a 2 DPS, go in there and burn, get it done. That's the ideal mindset with the community these days. For me, I mean, I will, if I have to run with someone who's having a little trouble with their DPS, and of course, as a ranged rage DPS, my DPS sucks. So if I see someone else getting a little bit of problems as well, then I'm going to like, you know what, here we're going to do. You do your DPS, I'm going to tank, I'm going to use my weapon mastery, you just burn everything, and we'll just take it slow. At the same, and also, communicate. Communicate with each other, say hello. Talk about your favorite things in game. Talk about the favorite things outside of game. Do you like the long walks on the beach? I do too. It's amazing. It's so peaceful. And I don't have my shrine anymore. The restraining order told me to take it down. So no more Shrine of Brit. But it doesn't say anything about in-game. Nah, sorry, that's stupid. But I will say this. Anyone lower than 120, don't go into the raid.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't, no. And I have, like, the biggest optimism ever. Because I took a 115 DPS. I'm like, hey, you know what? It was Dave, because he was like, I have an alt that's a DPS. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Bring him on. Come on in. And we replaced him just because he offered to be replaced. It was a whole big thing. But anyways, we had him in, and I didn't mind it. Other people might have. But at the same time, stuff died at a reasonable pace.
It's like Wednesday, that first group I was in the bombshell thing with. And I had one of the DPSs. I mean, we were in there for a couple hours trying to, get this. I mean, we were all in. Nobody was like, arguing or anything like that. I mean, it was a group of nice people. So nobody was blaming or anything like that. We were just like discussing different things to try and everything like that. And one of the DPS had to go, and we were trying to find somebody. And the guy somebody suggested, he's like, "Well, you just want to open it up. Chances are we'll get another DPS." And I was like, "Yeah, a 113 rage DPS trying to melee." I was like, no, that ain't happening. I was like,
I shouldn't laugh. I really shouldn't laugh. But for the raid, I wouldn't take anyone under 120. And that's basically once you are CR 120, you have a few pieces from the duo, and you're a little bit higher up, so your damage is going to be a little better.
You may have a few pieces from the duo. That 120 may be somebody, who just, like you said, somebody's alt that they just started playing.
If they even have 120 and it's from Halls of Power Part 2, I would be okay with it. I would take him in and see how the run goes and adjust accordingly. Because at the same time, you always want to make sure you have a backup something, please. Have a backup something. I got chastised for that. That was not cool. But...
what do you mean by a backup something?
Well, I was the only tank in the run. We didn't have an off tank or anyone that could switch an armory to an off tank, and I felt the disdain from a couple of players. It's like, we don't have an off tank, we don't have a secondary tank. I'm like, yeah, whoops. I tried. A rage tank we have our faults. We're not ice. We can't be perfect. God. And I'm not rolling ice because I don't want to be ice. I want to be rage. But under 120, don't go to the raid. Stick with the duos. And honestly, keep farming the duos until either everything in your slots are green and you have a few 116 blues, or something. You just gotta keep going. Just keep farming that duo. Keep spinning those replay badges, and yeah. Or even better, just keep doing the duos. Keep doing your Amazon Fairy Part 2 really until you get. Well, yeah, you can still keep doing it because they're also adjusting the CR for it's supposed to be at CR 131. That's when the Patrol Catastrophe and Halls of Hades ends, is at 131. They're adjusting to it to keep the 12 piece of content flowing. So you can still keep doing your Amazon Fury Part 2. You can still keep doing your Halls of Power Part 2. And you also now have an extra duo until you feel comfortable in your gear that is like, all right, it's raid time. And by the time that happens, it's already going to be episode 16, and here's your new solo and your new alert and elite alert. Yay. It's all fun. But yeah, I'm 113s, under 120s, don't go to the raid. You're going to have a bad time. You're just going to have a bad time. But, alright, so that's it for the SourceCast. We got to do our shameless plug, which is always fun. So, be sure to follow us on our social medias at facebook.com/DCUO SourceCast. You can also find us on just type in either DCUO SourceCast or just SourceCast and you'll find us. Also follow us on the Twitter at DCUO SourceCast. We're there. You can find all the videos in the VODs over at youtube.com/Trexlight in the SourceCast playlist. It also links to some of the videos over on Sewer Patriots channel. You can find all of the audio MP3s over on Trexlight.com, or you can go over to iTunes and just type in DCUO SourceCast and you'll find us. And you can also find the DCUO news over at Trexlight.com/DCUO SourceCast. Yeah, it's on the SourceCast page. So, bunch of DCUO news, what you're missing out, your green tracker reports and everything. It's fun. Just please read it. I want it to be meaningful. I spent a long time with it. And if you guys have any questions or suggestions that you guys want us to talk about on the SourceCast, email us at dcuosourcecast@gmail.com. And if the email doesn't work, you can also message me on the forums. Name's Trexlight. I'm all over the forums. You can click my name, private message me, and we'll talk about it on the show. Soups, where can we find you?
Somewhere.
Sorry, my son just called. My son is in the Explorers program for the county sheriff's department, and he's out helping with the Football Hall of Fame tonight, where they had an Aerosmith concert. He's mostly just directing traffic, but he just called and said he's ready. He told me he wasn't going to be done until midnight, but then he just called me and said, "Hey, come pick me up now. I'm done."
We'll talk about perfect.
Yeah. So, anyways, you can find me at, of course, youtube.com/thedaddy'shouse. You can also find me on facebook.com/thedaddy'shouse. I'm also on the Twitter at the Daddy's House, and occasionally you can see me struggling with bugs here on Twitch at twitch.tv/thedaddy's house. Vagrant, where can we find you at, sir?
You can find me on YouTube /TrickTracked. You can find me at Facebook /TrickTracked. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv /TrickTracked. Is that the URL?
Yes.
You can also find me on Twitter with @TrickTracked. You can find me on Tumblr, which is tricktracked.tumblr.com. Trex, where can we find you?
You can find me at facebook.com/Trexlight. Over at my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Trexlight. You can follow me on the Twitter, especially on the Twitter, at ThisIsTrex. And you guys should be following the Twitch over here to follow the DCUO SourceCast anytime else I go live and do weird stuff over at twitch.tv/Trexlight. So, before we go, I want to thank all the new followers tonight. XTWOPC, Dark Stories, Jeffrey DCUO, Vigslow, Evil Fire Chaos, The Kid Devil, I'm guessing that's going to be Marley with the 4 as an A. King Will 1738, Savage Kiz, and Cameraman 123. Thank you guys so much for following. And so stick around. We're going to end the show, and then we're going to do the giveaway. I got 2 $10 PSN cards. So if you guys are a little shortchanged and you want to try and get that episode coming on Wednesday, I got the cards for you. So I want to thank everyone. I want to thank you guys for joining me for tonight for another good show, and thank you, Brittany, for joining as well. Hopefully, you're laying a smackdown on someone, whatever you're doing. I'm not gonna spook the business. Thank you, Squishy. I'm sorry, Squishy. Thank you so much for the follow. All right, guys, we will see you guys next week for the DCUO SourceCast. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Boy. Boy.